So right here, I'm just cutting all the material to the angles that I need. And you see I'm using that first piece and clamping it to it. That way I get everything the exact same length and angle. Now I'm just flattening every part and deburring it all. Now I'm just tacking up the main frame of it. You can see that 1, 2, 3 block I'm using as a stop. That way all these curly cues get cut to the same length. I went and beveled everything on the sander, and now I'm just getting the mill scale off. Now I'm just grinding everything down with the flap disc, and I'm not grinding it all the way off. I'm leaving a little bit there. That way when I come back through with the DA, it'll get it nice and flat and I can blend it really nice. The only thing with the DA is it takes a long time. You got to get the right sanding discs that'll work on steel, and I didn't have any, so it took a long time and a lot of sandpaper. Now I'm just using some scrap metal as some shims so that I can clamp them to that piece and get that top rail centered on the bottom piece. And I used a piece of 1.5 inches to offset it on one side, so that way it's centered forward to back also. I like to start with the centerpiece, tack that in, and then do my offsets 4 inches from there for the pickets. And then whatever I end up on the ends, it usually looks pretty clean. I should have MIG welded this whole thing, but I figured because I was going to be sanding some of it that it would be easier to TIG weld it and take less time grinding it off. But most of it wasn't ground off, so using the MIG would have saved a ton of time. But since I had already started, I figured I'd just finish it. Now right here, it's 1/2 inch to 0.65 tubing. So I used the pulse settings and welded up with that, and that worked awesome. Right there you can see I'm drilling a weep hole or a vent hole. That way it stops blowing out on me when I'm trying to weld it. Sometimes you can get away with it, but I couldn't on this one. See me trying to use that burnishing tool to see if it'd save me time with the DA. It ended up not working, so I just went with the DA. Now I'm doing the handrail for the backyard, and this one's a bunch of different angles, so I cut it afterwards. Right here I'm using the Evolution skill saw to cut the angle that I needed, because I think it was like a 26-degree angle and my chop saw wouldn't do an angle that tight, and it ended up working great. this one had so many sections that were ground off, it took a long time. It used a lot of sandpaper with the DA. I actually switched to just using some regular, I think it's 3 or 3.5 inch sandpaper with a sticky back that I'd put on there because I ran out of all my disc sanders. Now most stairs have a good slope to them, but on this one, the forward one was like a 4-degree slope. So normally you can just tack it, move it, and then weld it up, but on this one I actually had to cut it to get that forward slope on it. All that's left now is to powder coat them, and that'll take too long, so right now this is the final product. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That way you get to watch more of these. If there's something specific you want to watch, just let me know in the comments. And if I can or if I have time, I'll get to it, alright? You guys have a good one.